Have you been receiving lately more phone calls from unsolicited numbers or people who are trying to sell you something? Or in general, if you just want to be able to have the ability to block people that you don't want to call you at all. Well, today I'm going to show you an app that is free that will let you do that for both Android and iOS. It'll allow you to block phone numbers from anonymous sources or unknown callers or phone numbers that have been marked as spam, or give you the ability to just block outright phone numbers that you do not want to have call you. I'm looking at you. So hello everyone and welcome to Fremdly Tips. My name is Nathaniel, and if you're new here, this is the channel that's all about technology, gadgets, and showing you cool ways of how to use them. So consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification down below so you can be the first to know when a new tip goes live. As I mentioned, I'm going to be talking to you about a free app called Hiya that is able to block phone calls or spam phone calls on both your Android and iOS. Now, most of the cell services out there, like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, and Sprint, all do offer a service that does allow you to block spam or potential spam callers from calling you, but most of them actually are paid services. And yes, there are other paid apps out there, but for me, I'm like, why would I pay for an app if I can just get this one for free that does the job? So I've been using this app for a while, and I think actually AT&T, their service for blocking spam calls actually uses Hiya, the service. So I'm going to show you how to set it up on both Android and iOS, and in doing so, it should decrease the amount of spam phone calls that you are receiving. If it doesn't, you can obviously just block and submit that number that comes in as a spam phone number, so that way it helps the population, because it is utilizing a service, or the service is utilizing crowdsource from everybody. So hopefully this service is helpful to you. If it is, don't forget to hit like down below, and let's get started showing you how to set that thing up. So first up, we have the Hiya app for the iPhone. Now, it is a free app. Once you have it installed, you're going to want to hit the open, and it'll drop you right into the service. Now, there's a bunch of different tabs at the bottom. They do have a paid premium one, but you can get away with just doing the free version for all intents and purposes. As you can see, the service is already blocking a ton of spam and scam phone numbers. I mean, that's incredible how many. I'm sure there's not even the total number. What you can do is you can obviously set your own block list, and if you sign in with your own account, you can obviously take that wherever you go within all your different devices you'll own over the many years. But what you can do is you can set up spam and fraud protection. You can say, I want just to block or warn me. I just have it set up for warn me for a lot of things, because that way, if it does come through that it is not, a legitimate number I want to take, I want it to be able to go through. So what it is it has the ability to do spam protection. I have it on warn me. This is a new feature they just added called neighborhood scam protection. So a lot of people are saying that they're getting a lot of phone calls from numbers that are very, very similar to their own phone numbers. So what you do is you register your phone number into the database here, into their system, and then it'll now look for numbers that are similar to yours, and it'll warn you saying these could potentially be fraud. So you can also whitelist your contacts so they can automatically get through. So you can sit here and you obviously can search for contacts. You can look at phone numbers through this. You can do your own dial app. It hooks into the phone's app. Under options, it basically just has the privacy, lights. You can clear the recent searches, all the fun stuff. Premium, if you really wanted to pay for it. No, I didn't want to click that. I wanted to hit premium. So premium obviously amps it up, and it is a paid subscription, but you can get more information about who's calling you, more named results. I don't really see the purpose of that if it just gives you the benefit of what you really care about, which is to block spam and phone calls. So once you've set all that up, you're going to need to go into the settings to be able to set this thing up. So once you do that, you go into phone, and then right here under call blocking and identification, that's where you're going to enable Hiya spam and block. So if you had the premium one, you'll enable that too, but there's no need to that. So once you enable the spam and block, you're good to go. You're then all set up, and then the app should work perfectly. And it'll obviously update whenever you go back into the app. So that should then hopefully block phone calls that you do not want on your iPhone. So next up, Android. So on Android, it's basically going to be the same process as on iOS. So it's a free app on Android. After you've downloaded it, you're going to hit open, and it's going to open up the app. It's going to show you first, after you've enabled all the different permissions, to show you your dialer, your recent history, as well as also a bunch of blocked listings. I have blocked over here WSU's financial. They are trying to call me to donate to the school, and I'm like, nope, I'm already paying student loans still. Over here, as I mentioned, you can save your profile, so that way whenever you move to a different device, it can follow you around. Under the call settings, this is where all the fun really happens. So you can obviously update it so to your liking, so it can block the different scams, frauds, suspect calls, all incoming, outgoing calls having a caller ID. So I've gone through and I've kind of enabled most of them to be warnings. I originally did for private numbers. I originally did block send to voicemail, but the problem is that Kaiser and a bunch of other services all use private numbers and they weren't getting through. I've also enabled it where it shows the caller ID for everybody that I'm making phone calls outwards to, and as well as also coming in. But as far as contacts, I don't want it to do anything because obviously I know who they are. I've also set up to identify text messages when they come in if it's from a person I do not know at all. It's overall really, really helpful and has helped me know who the heck is calling me half the time. I highly recommend it on the Android side. So Hiya Call Screener, I've actually never enabled this. The reason why I haven't is because I don't want people to not leave a voicemail, because I'm assuming that what happens is when you enable it, people are going to be greeted with a robot greeting saying, please tell me who you are, or text message. And most people, especially companies that are calling you back, like T-Mobile, for example, or Kaiser, they're not going to do that. So you're just going to miss a lot of messages that might be coming through. So overall, this is great. There really isn't much else to it in terms of settings. The nice thing about Android is that on the dialer, when it's dialing out, it'll actually appear at the very top of the dialer. You can move it around and drag it around where you like, which is nice about Android. So hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial on how to block spam phone calls and text messages on your device. If you did, don't forget to hit